Hey y'all, what is going on? It's your girl D Green 2.0 here, back at it. I have been missing for 2 weeks and I apologize for that, but we're gonna get back to it, okay? Before we get into it, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, hit that notification bell. This way you are notified whenever I upload a video, and hype me up. We still gonna speak it into existence, okay? All right, anywho. So just quick update and then we'll get right into it. So I was in California when I did the last recap. Y'all know that if you watched. Got back that following Saturday, and yeah, it's just been nonstop since. My daughter is away, but oddly, with her being away, I still feel like I don't have enough time in the day to like just, do everything that I want to do. Because you know how you feel like you have enough time, but then you don't? Nonetheless, I've been, keeping at it. Property manager had to resign, so now I'm managing my property. So now I have an extra workload. Getting her ready to go back to school. Went out on a date Sunday night with the nice little young lady. And yeah, I'm just chilling. I'm chilling. Man, when I tell y'all, I feel really bad for Shamia, but she brought this on herself, like I said last time. I was watching this episode, and I watched the other episode too because I'm 2 weeks behind. I'll get the episode 16 up by sometime this week before the finale. But anywho, regarding Shamia, I feel bad for her because Shamia is what we're seeing. This is a ramification of going along to get along. Okay? Never, ever, ever suppress your voice. Never. I get it. Sometimes we kind of like to spare people that we love, of our feelings and what our true thoughts are, because we don't want them to feel disrespected, or we know they may be too sensitive, or maybe we don't want to cause conflict in the relationship, what have you. However, when you do that, you do nothing but hurt yourself. Never lie about how you really feel in a situation because you fear you're going to lose the person that's in that relationship. And I'm talking across the gamut: friendships, relationships, marriages, all of that. Never suppress who you are because you fear if you're honest with them, you're going to lose them. Because what happens is you start, building up all that frustration. It turns into tension, it turns into resentment, and then before you know it, you lash out, and then there's no turning back. So I say I feel sorry for her because I understand her putting herself in this position, but at the same time, she could have critically assessed the situation and handled it differently, because the way she brought everything out at the table, she hurt herself, because now no one is even caring about how you felt wronged in the relationship, Shamia. All they can remember is what you did at that table. And no matter how much you try to justify your cause or explain it to people, and I've been seeing it in the media, it's split. Just people don't want to hear it because you look like the person that was causing the issue. So let's just get into it, okay? All right, so Season 17, Real Housewives of Atlanta, episode 15. It's called Waking the Dead, okay? I think it's 15. So it picks up where they left off last episode, and you have Shamia and Kelly heading back to the hotel where they're staying at. Side note, I was wondering if they were going back to the hotel they were staying at, because wherever they were, when they met up the next day, Shamia and Kelly looked like they were coming from somewhere else. So anywho, that's just a side distraction. Don't pay me no attention. But anywho, so they meet up and they're talking, and they're just debriefing, what happened. And Kelly said that she had to remove Shamia from that environment. I'm glad she did, because she had to. It was done at that point. Across the pond. What you gonna do? It's gonna be uncomfortable the rest of the way. But nonetheless, they're talking about it. And Shamia, she's saying she thought they were going to be able to come back from that because she looked at Portia as her sister. And, that's the thing. Another thing, never overplay your position in someone's life. This is another lesson she has to learn, because then you may find that you're not as important as you thought you were. So, oh, Shamia. But, you know, they're talking, and Kelly, you know, at the end of it, she's like, look, let's go out. I didn't come all the way to Scotland to not turn up, because the other ladies, they went back to go get dressed so that they can go to the club, Coco Boho in Scotland. And so they all go there. They're all talking. Pinky says that she is tired of Shamia and Portia's friction, which, I mean, we all are at this point. They get there, they start singing. Well, K. Michelle kicks it off. She kind of like took over and, you know, was like, I'm pretty sure they coordinated that with the DJ. So K. Michelle introduces the ladies that were going to sing as they were coming up to sing their song. So she first sung to Phaedra, to serenade Phaedra for her birthday, her song VSOP. And then afterwards, she brought in Drew. I thought that was really cute. You know, even though with their beef, she still was like, hey, come up here and sing your song, do what you do. Drew got up and she started singing. And then Portia was next. But because Shamia and Kelly then started walking into the club. Oh, I just got a friend request from someone. Okay, I have to check that out. I get so distracted, y'all. Sorry. But anyway, so Shamia and Kelly were walking in the club. And because Shamia and Kelly came in, Portia took that as an opportunity to get the hell out of Dodge. She did not want to be around Shamia. She says the God in her that has gotten her to this growth point, she can't be around Shamia. And that's sad too. Obviously, Portia, you were feeling some things for such a long time to where if you really saw her as a friend, you shouldn't have pushed her away. But I don't know, y'all. It's up and stuck for them. It is what it is. So anywho, so Shamia, she comes in. Portia skedaddles. Drew and Angela follow behind her shortly. Okay. Now, this is where it's confusing for me. Because again, you know, it's been a couple weeks. So there's been a lot of like media clipping, things getting out there. And apparently, the way it was edited, it looked like Angela left, but apparently Angela was there to listen. Was it Angela or Cynthia? One of them. Anywho, the way Shamia was explaining it in the show and the way it looked in the show, it conflicts. And then you had Kelly. She's been on her media run. She just did an interview with Carlos King yesterday, which was actually a really good interview. Gave me a little bit more insight. She's a little... she's something, I'll just tell her that, but she's fit for the show. You know, she's got the personality that you need to be a housewife. But anywho, Kelly was saying that the women didn't leave immediately when Shamia was singing, but what she's saying is that they left in general. And so it's, you know, it's the way it's edited. But speaking of the way it's edited, the way I'm looking at it, it looks like they are editing Shamia out of the show. Shamia, you really shot yourself in the foot going after Portia. And you know, show business, there's nothing like show business. This was show business. You were not going to gain popularity in favor of the audience doing it the way that you did with Portia. Flawed and all, Portia has tenure. She has won over the fans, and that's just how it is. You know, there's certain environments where there's a culture, right? And, you know, depending on each environment, like cultures don't cross over. For example, I hate to get it, like prison. Prison has a culture, right? They have rules, they have politics, right? Not going to be the same in the real world. So that's what I'm trying to say, Shamia. This reality stuff you got going on, the way you're trying to go about it and win over it, it's not going to work. And I feel so bad for you, because I know as a 42-year-old woman that has been watching this whole franchise for, 22 years, right? I know that the fans are finicky, right? And I know how this works. And I do want to, you know, give you grace and give you the benefit of the doubt, and I understand where you're coming from. However, I do look at you like you kind of pulled it. You were kind of a snake about, you know, the way you approach things. Portia was just a little bit more calculated. And I'm totally deviating from my notes, but it's more or less an opinion at this point of what I've been seeing. because it's like Shamia is really, you know, she's fighting going down, but she's going down. The writing's on the wall. So back to the show. So so anywho, so Drew and Angela, they're outside standing by the car, which was strange because Portia left first, and I guess they were waiting on their car. I don't know. And that's another reason why I'm like, the way it's edited, it doesn't look like, but anywho. So Drew and Angela were talking, and Drew says to Angela, well, you know, I just met you, but, you know, the energy, I would never, after you and I had a blow up like that, then follow up, you know, meet you somewhere and then follow up with that type of energy as if it never happened. I agree with you, Drew, but again, you are not Shamia, and that's another thing. You can't, you know, you can look at how you would do things, but don't expect people to handle things the same way you do. And also the friendship longevity and the quality of the friendship is totally different. I really feel like Shamia and Portia were more like party friends that did their dirt with each other. You and Angela became friends on this show, so the quality of your friendship is going to be different. But again, you're a part of that group that's trying to usher Shamia out, so I understand why you got to chime in the way that you did. But I mean, in a way, she was kind of right. It's like Shamia just showed up dancing like nothing happened. And that was kind of strange. So it's just weird now at this point. So Shamia, she also has her song. I think it was Never Had she was singing. And Cynthia was there, but Shamia claims that everybody left when she started singing. Now, this is where Shamia shoots herself in the foot. I'm not sure if it's editing. I'm not sure if it's Shamia and her victimhood, the narrative that she plays for herself, but that's what I'm saying is like really bad. And even Cynthia, who I'm typically, you know, I have an affinity towards, even Cynthia has found herself on a side. She's taking a side. She's no longer neutral. She's no longer guiding them with wisdom. She has sided with Portia, which I won't say she's 100% sided with Portia. She is with Portia, but I still see the grace she's trying to give Shamia. And Shamia is the one that is causing more tension with her and Cynthia because of the way she's handling things. And it's like, Shamia, you got to be smart. You got to be strategic about this. This is not the real world you would typically operate in. People's, their moral compasses, their thought processes, they're not the same. So the expectations you don't have it in the reality TV world. Anywho, so in the club night, next day, they're all meeting up to, you know, get started on their day. Shamia and Kelly, like I said earlier in the recap, they come back. I don't know where the hell they came back from. I could have sworn they were staying in the same house, right? But they come back the next day nonetheless. So, Phaedra goes to Portia's room because, you know, they're the ringleaders of the group, or of the trip at least. And she's telling Portia that she's going to take some girls to the cemetery. Coco, stop. You are so loud. This is my puppy baby. Sorry, y'all. My dog is like, I don't know why she's doing that. Go sit down. Go sit down. Let me finish. Oh, she ain't gonna sit down, y'all. Anywho, so Phaedra and Portia are talking about what they're gonna do for the day. Phaedra's gonna take some women to the cemetery. Portia's gonna take some women to the spa. Phaedra says that she's going to take Cynthia. Who else? It was Cynthia. I know it was, and Kelly, and then Shamia. And when she said Shamia, Portia looked at her like, oh, why are you taking her? And then Phaedra, in a way, I wouldn't say she was explaining herself, but Phaedra was kind of like, well, you know, I'm just doing this because I want to get some answers out of her. I kind of want to talk to her about what happened last night. And I like that Phaedra did that because it looks like the way I looked at Portia's face at least, sorry, I'm a little tired. It looked like Portia was like expecting Phaedra to ice Shamia out now. Like everybody's going to ice her out. So she looked like she didn't even want Phaedra to include Shamia. And I'm glad that Phaedra still did it because that's the grown thing to do. I mean, it's not like you guys are, you know, going somewhere local. You guys are on an international trip. We're not going to isolate anyone or, you know, ice people out. You know, take care of that shit when you get back home. But anywho, so Portia says she's going to take the women to the spa. And she says that she can no longer fake the funk, and it's matching energies at this point. Or maybe she said that in the scene when she was talking to her sister. But basically, Portia is saying, look, I'm good. F her. She's cold with it. And so you have the women. Oh, before I get to this. This is how I know it's a concerted effort, because I'm paying attention to the language in between the conversations. When Portia and Phaedra were talking about like what they were going to do, Portia made a comment about, we got someone else. Here she is sabotaging another trip, right? And I'm like, wait a minute. Shamia didn't sabotage the Dallas trip. She didn't. Conflict arises. That's what this show is about, conflict and resolution. But if you pay attention, they're really trying to make Shamia out to be the problem. Anyway, so the women start heading to the cemetery. They're breaking off. And then as they're driving to the cemetery, you know, they're having their conversation. Phaedra surprises them and tells them that's where they're going because they didn't know. And then they jokingly say, can you pull this car up so we can go back home? Then you got Portia. They go back to her and she starts talking to Lauren. She calls her sister. It's 2 o'clock in Scotland, 8 o'clock in Atlanta. And so Portia's just telling Lauren about everything that happened, which was sad because, like, I recently rewatched Portia's Family Matters, and Portia's having a baby, and Shamia was a part of that. She was a part of that, so it was such a shame to see them go this way. And then hear Lauren, you know, give her commentary to Portia. It's like, it's just the dissolution of what I thought was a friendship, but apparently it wasn't. So she's telling her, and then Portia says that she thought they were going to be chilling. You know, her intentions were to just be cool. And then, you know, Shamia decided to pull some snake stuff. So now the gloves are off. She told Lauren what Shamia said. Lauren was like, what the hell? Like, surprised like all of us. And she's just basically telling Portia not to sling mud. Don't stoop down to the level because this is a person that knows you. So she's going to know how to provoke you. So don't bite the bait. And she's right. But, you know, I don't feel like both women at this point. Like, Shamia she does a little bit too much. But Portia, you know, she does her thing. Both of them are not on the level of making shit happen, even if they don't like each other, for the benefit of a show. If they can do that, I would love to see Shamia come back next season and they try to resolve it. It would be cool. But judging by the language and the way they're treating her in the show, and the way the subliminal pile up, you know, the stuff that's out in the media, it does not look like Shamia is gonna come back. But who knows? We'll see. So then this part, Phaedra's interpretation of Shamia's behavior. So as Portia is talking to Lauren, there was an intercut scene, a confessional, where Phaedra is saying that basically Shamia has been very problematic and just causing conflict and division all amongst the group. And she started pointing out scenarios, and I was like, oh shit. Kind of like HR taking notes. Phaedra's like, you know, first she told me that somebody said I eat, or Pinky told the whole Pinky eat thing. Yeah, that was at the beginning of the season. That was Shamia, because she misconstrued the information. Then, you know, she spoke about how Shamia said something to Angela's daughter, and I'm just like, I get what you're saying, Phaedra, but the way you are highlighting and placing emphasis on it, right to the wall. So, in the car, Shamia is explaining her position to Cynthia, right? And apologizing, which she kept apologizing throughout the whole episode. And that's why I was happy when Kelly just said, stand on it. You know, just own what you said. Sometimes you just gonna be the villain. You just gotta be okay with that. Okay? Just apologizing, because it just makes people not even want to F with you even more. Because it's like, what convictions do you really have? Like, where do you really stand when it comes to standing on business as a person, as a mature adult? Like, we don't know really how to read you. And even Kelly, because I've seen this. Kelly is her closest friend now, yes. But at the same time, Shamea is helping out Kelly a lot. So even I look at that with skepticism, because the way Shamea carries herself, the only way you would really feel comfortable being up under her, at least for me, is if she's meeting some sort of need of yours. Because I don't know how you can have an honest relationship with her, because Shamea is not honest with herself. And I'm not coming from a place of dislike. I don't dislike Shamea. I don't. But I see what I see. And, you know, like I said, I've been around unhealed people all my life. I study psychology. And, you know, Shamea's she needs to go heal whatever's going on with her. Maybe she felt second best growing up. Maybe I don't know. But beautiful woman. Heart may be good. But up here, maybe in here, there's some workshopping that has to get done. Because it's just too much. It's too much. But anyway, so like I said, Shamea's, explaining her case. It's on deaf ears at this point. Portia said to Lauren, because it's going back and forth, that she feels like Shamea is trying to destiny swap. And I thought that was kind of funny, because I'm like, I guess you could say that, but then what about you, Portia? But hold up. Okay. So I thought back. And when Shamea did her interview with Carlos not too long ago, she did admit that Portia and her weren't always the closest. Portia was actually closer with Shamea's older sister, but after Portia divorced Cordell, that's when Shamea and her became closer. Oh, y'all, literally right here tonight as I'm talking to y'all, now that I'm like thinking about it, damn it, Shamea. I gotta fucking defend Portia. I mean, okay, when you break that down, I can't even say Portia's off with that. Because, like, why all of a sudden are you wanting to hang out with me so tough and so hard now that I'm getting divorced and I'm on this reality show? And then our friendship starts to build more after I'm divorced and on this reality show? Oh, damn it. Well, Shamea, you done got caught, girl. You done got figured out. Damn, that did not hit me until now, y'all. Because at first I was like so on the cross, and I was wrong. I'll admit I was wrong. But I was saying, nah, both of y'all were fucking destiny swapping, chasing each other's life or whatever. But now that I play it back, I can see Shamea being more of the person that is pursuing the type of life that Portia has. And in a way, Portia probably tried to do it, but initially, the original sin, I can't see Shamea being the person. Because, like, Shamea was around... Wait a minute. Anyway, let me stop, because I was going to say Shamea was around season 5. She was at that dinner at Portia's grandfather's house where Kenya got kicked out. Shamea was sitting next to Portia. So... I don't know, y'all. I don't know. Let me get back to it. Y'all know how I do. I'm sorry. All right. So Portia tells, Lauren she's not with taking the high road anymore because she can't fake the vibe. She can't. So Portia's group, they head to the spa. And I say spa because this spa, it was on the grounds where they're staying. But all it was a, looks like a hitch, like a fifth wheel, a smaller fifth wheel hitch or something that they converted into a sauna. I love dry saunas, by the way. It's my favorite. And then they had a hot tub that it looks like they got from Costco. And then they had this other little bath where it looks like you can wash dishes in. Not much of a spa. Didn't see massage tables. Didn't see, pedicure, manicure sections. Didn't see a table for you to lay down and get a facial. I did not see any of that. But anywho, so they go and they eat lunch instead. They sit down and they start talking. And as they're connecting, they're talking about everything. Portia claims that she was open to reconcile with Shamea eventually. And then it just, the way Shamea handled it, now that's no longer an option. And then Kay is me in confessional. Kay is like, that's BS. You never talked to me about possibly trying to reconnect with Shamea. You're just saying this now all of a sudden because now she can say it. And that's why I'm saying, Shamea, you brought this on yourself. You made the situation worse because now Portia can just manipulate the narrative however she sees fit because now she is on the defense because you went on the offense. Anyway, so, and then the cemetery ladies, so they get there and they meet their tour guide, Jamie, who, look, don't judge me. I thought that was a nice looking little older Scottish man. I like the men and the ladies, y'all know this. But when it comes to the white boys, I like the strong European white boys. I do. But anywho, so they meet Jamie, and then Jamie greets them and asks them what brings them to the cemetery. Phaedra explains that, what she does at home and why she's drawn to it. And then they flash back to a scene, and I was like, editing, you guys are wrong. So they flash back to a scene in 2012 where I think it was filmed in 2011 and aired in 2012, but it was circa 2011 and 12. And they flash back to the scene where Phaedra was talking to a family about burying their dog. Yeah, it was season 5, so this was 2012. And they flashed at the bottom of the scene that the year was 2014. And I was like, oh no, boo-boo, it was 2012, get it right. How do fans know more than the damn producers? Man, y'all, or the editors, y'all getting sloppy over there. So the cemetery that they were visiting has a connection to Harry Potter. I don't watch Harry Potter, so I wouldn't know. Sorry, shoot me. I just never got into it. And, Jamie's just giving them a lot of history on the cemetery, how people will get buried there if you went against the king, because it was either you were with the king or against the king. And if you were against the king, that's high treason and you get killed for that. He also said that there was a section of the cemetery that's blocked off where I guess there was a time, long time ago, where there were some strange activities going around, some dark spiritual stuff. So they brought in an exorcist to purge that energy out of there. And what did he say? 2 weeks later or a week or later, the exorcist died. And I said, oh shoot, that's some dark, heavy stuff. That's the thing about that part of the world. It's probably the oldest, and it's got so much history. That's why I can't wait to go over across the pond. Anywho, and Phaedra was saying how there's a dog. It looks like it was a Scottish Terrier. There's a dog that they have a statue of in the cemetery because the dog's owner passed away and was buried there. And what they would do, the dog sat by the plot for 14 years until the dog passed away, and it became iconic. So they just made a statue out of him and left him there, or put him there, not left him there, but placed him there as kind of a monument. So that was pretty cool. Now, what did I say here? Oh, okay, yeah. I put here, Shamea's feeling the ramifications of going along to get along. And I said, keep your value. That's why you got to keep your word. Don't ever, not keep your word, keep your voice. Don't ever suppress your voice for the greater good of whatever, because it's not good for you. You're going to be dying inside. But anywho, so on the car ride back from the cemetery, they're all talking to Phaedra about her birthday and, the year around the sun and everything, and just kind of reflecting. And Shamea asks her how is co-parenting with Apollo. Phaedra comments on that. And then she asked, was it hard to date after that divorce, or, you know, have you dated? Phaedra said she hasn't dated anyone serious. She's only been with 2 people since her divorce. And Cynthia said the confessional bullshit. She's getting sexy for somebody. So I know somebody between them legs. We just don't know it. Now, I get it. On one hand, I do believe Phaedra, because when you go through something as traumatic as being in a relationship with the type of person Apollo was, and yes, for the record, I can't stand that motherfucker. I don't like Apollo. I've said it before. I don't like a person that, well, a man, but definitely a person that expects loyalty and does not offer loyalty, and has no problem with embarrassing their wife on national television, and then has the nerve to be a victim behind it. I have never liked Apollo. Never. But anywho, being with someone after that type of relationship, having kids with them, going through the ordeal that you went through, you do become a little bit more guarded, because you went into this relationship the way that you were, you know, single. You came out, now you're a mother and an ex-wife, and you got all these responsibilities. You do take it slower. You are a lot more selective, because you have to be. So on one hand, I can believe Phaedra hasn't had anything serious since her divorce. But on the other hand, she is a sex kitten, and I can believe Cynthia too. And maybe there's no full truth to that, so we'll see. But anywho, so they all go back to the house, and they're getting ready for Phaedra's birthday dinner. They're gonna have dinner for her at the castle, I guess they said it was. I'm not sure. So they all meet up. They're all getting dressed. I liked Kay's look. I actually liked Pinky's look. And there was one more person where I was like, oh, I would wear that. Oh, I actually did like Kelly's look, but I didn't like the hair. I liked the all black. They're all meeting for dinner. I think it was Cynthia. Yeah, it was Cynthia, Drew, Pinky came later. Angela. Anyway, let me just get to the point I'm trying to make. So they're sitting around in the waiting area for dinner. And then Cynthia is telling Drew, Pinky, and Angela about, you know, what happened at on their outing. And, you know, she's just saying how Shamia was, you know, apologizing and explaining her position, and, you know, Drew could care less. But I mean, the way Shamia treated Drew last season, brought it on yourself, because you were over here going hard on Drew on behalf of Portia, and now you've got Drew going hard on you on behalf of Portia. This is why you don't adopt people's beefs and then become mean-spirited about it. I didn't watch season 16, but I've heard all about it. And, you know, the laughing at Portia when she said she was going to F Charles and Angela heard you. It's just, Shamia. You are looking kind of snaky. I can't even lie. When I play it all back, I can't. As sweet as she wants to come off, no. So anyway, so Drew was looking like who I could care less, but then Kay, you know, she was saying how she feels bad for Shamia, because she does not want Shamia to feel like she's being dogpiled on, because they know she's just a ball of emotions and whatever, and she's just being negative. But Pinky says that, you know, she has noticed a change in Shamia, because when they were coming, or when they were going, I'm not there, I'm not in Scotland, so they're not coming to me. But when they were on their way to Scotland at the airport, Pinky had asked Shamia, you know, how you ready for the trip? And then Shamia responded in a combative way, not in a like confirming I'm ready. Like, I'm ready for whatever they want to do. So basically they're just highlighting how Shamia's been on edge, the energy's been different, and it's crossing over into the group. Concerted effort. So anywho, so they all sit down at dinner. They all meet up. Everybody look cute, you know, everybody bouncing around. Phaedra and Portia had on similar outfit, only Phaedra's was accompanied with blonde hair and a fur, and Portia's was either plastic or rubber. But they both had on tight white dresses, very cute. So they all sit down. Phaedra kicks off dinner by speaking about her journey being on the Housewives. She said she started in 2009. And, you know, her and Cynthia actually joined together. They did. And, you know, she was just, you know, saying how, well, Cynthia said this, it has not always been the best. We've had, you know, bumpy road here and there. But one thing I've always admired about you is that you're resilient and you make it look so easy. And I'll give, that's glory to God. Because, you know, Phaedra she's not ashamed about her faith. But Phaedra has been through a lot and she has made it look easy. You know, she's bounced back. You know, she's in that nice house in Buckhead. Practice is still going strong. She still got money in the bank, and then she returned back to Bravo. So I could see how there could be some admiration on that, because it's not so much just bouncing back in one area. In general, across the board, Phaedra has bounced back. She has. And so then you have Portia come in, laying it on thick, trying to get under Shamia's skin, talking about, oh, Phaedra, we done been through so much, and you are just that one friend that I could call no matter what's going on. You know, anything, you know, we may have had our bump in the road, but it has never ever stopped us, you know, just Shamia is just looking over at her like, what the hell? And in the confessional, Angela said it, Portia is trying to basically treat Shamia like she never existed. You know, the way she was talking about her and Phaedra's friendship. Because I'm like, y'all are not that close. Or maybe y'all are, but who knows? It's a show at this point. So, then Portia, after she, you know, says her piece to Phaedra or whatever, she presents her with her gift to her, which is a title, a Highland title that she got for her. Lady something of something. Lady something. I forget, but lady. So then they start talking about their cemetery experience. They're all recapping their day or whatever. And I think it was Kay that asked the group if any of them had had an encounter with death. And, you know, they all commented. Shamia says at birth she had an encounter. Kelly, Portia said a couple times. And then Kay started getting emotional and crying because, you know, Kay is really, she regrets her choice. However, Kay, I ain't gonna act like we don't remember you talking to this man about putting fats in your body to smooth out whatever. So yeah, you had your run-in and your close encounter, but just like you cried and got emotional at the table, remember that when you're out here entertaining other offers to get more surgery or whatever. So anywho, so Kay got real emotional. She said, you know, doctor told her she may not make it, and you don't know that feeling or how it just made her feel the worst. Her mother, you know, seeing her mother there, and then her son being embarrassed and, you know, fearful, like it wakes you up. So she says she remembers bleeding and being in the hospital on the bed, you know, crying, Lord, please forgive me. I'm sorry I made this mistake. You know, forgive me. Give me a second chance. It gets like that. That's why I've said this before, I don't knock any woman or any person that wants to alter your body or get cosmetic procedures to enhance yourself. However, at my age, and as someone that understands the mind and, you know, how it's always going through it, right? Things that you cannot undo once it's permanently done, don't do it unless you can live with it for the rest of your life. Hey, people probably feel the same way about tattoos. You will never mark your body up, right? That's what I do. I mark my body up. But surgery, that's a whole other beast, because I equate it to a vase or a vase that's broken. You know, you could probably piece it back together, but it's never going to operate the same. You would keep the vase, but you would never use it the same way. So same thing with your body. Once you start cutting into it unnecessarily, you make it a lot more susceptible and fragile to more damage. So God bless you, Kay. God bless you. It's getting better. So they're talking about all of this, and of course, it's because it's around the topic of death. We have Angela and Drew, who more recently, out of everyone in the group, have, well, no, Portia too, but those two lost parents. So Drew lost her dad, and she said she hasn't been to the grave yet, and then she just got emotional. I guess because, you know, once you go to that grave, it's like it's real for you. So she got up and got emotional, and then Angela got her to thinking about her mama. She got up too and walked away, and they just started crying. And Portia ran after Drew to check on her, and Drew says while she's in the bathroom, well, Portia's checking on her, she just didn't want to take away from Phaedra's birthday, so she had to step away. But while she was there, gone and stepping away, Shamia brought it upon herself again to apologize and try to explain her position. Shamia, they don't care. Sis, they don't care. Just hang it up. I am so intrigued to see how this reunion's gonna go. I mean, if she can, stranger things have happened. I do believe in miracles, but if she can miraculously like redeem herself and get back on the good foot with Portia, I would be surprised. I'd be like, oh, okay, but I just don't see it happening. So anywho, so she apologized again, and this is when Kelly said, the girl, stop apologizing. Stand 10 toes down in what you did. And then she kicks her feet up, right? And she didn't have I don't know if she didn't have on underwear, or maybe she had on a thong and her butt crack showed, but the producer was like, oh my God, we can see her crack. And then Kelly was like, so what? Crack is what? Everybody got one. She's just unapologetically like, fuck it. Oh, well, you can see my crack. And then, you know, they get up from the table. After they segue off of that, Portia comes back. She's asking them, how's everything going? And they tell her what was going on. Portia straight curved, even getting involved in that conversation. So they talk, close out dinner, get up, bagpipes come in, on Phaedra's behalf, and then everyone gets up and starts dancing and closes out with the electric slide to the bagpipes, and that was the end of the episode. Oh, and that's where we are. So I'm gonna try to get the next episode out sometime soon, because if I don't do it, it's gonna be like go. School starts back on Monday. I gotta go pick my baby up from Florida and then take her school shopping. So it's gonna be a busy weekend, but I'm gonna get it done. But on that note, guys, I'm gonna leave you. Peace and blessings. Thank you so much for rocking out with me and showing love to your favorite quirky widow. And peace and blessings to you all. I'll talk to you next time. Bye now.